I want to remind you of Genesis chapter 4 and verse 6. We're going to come downhill to a close here in a moment. Genesis chapter 4. Somebody didn't say, oh no. Genesis 4 and 6. You remember when Cain was wroth because, upset, angry because God didn't receive his offering, but he received Abel's? And then the Lord says to him in verse 6, why are you angry? He says to Cain, why are you angry? And why has your countenance fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? If you do not do well, sin lies at the door. Listen to the construction of the language here. Sin lies at the door, and its desire is for you, but you should rule over it. Do you hear that? Sin lies at the door. The Bible describes sin in Genesis 4 there, and it describes sin in Romans chapter 6, 7, as an active force, not as a static thing. When we commit sin, Jesus said we become the slave of sin. So sin isn't just I did a thing. Sin is I yielded. You see the difference? And Paul says in Romans 6, sin shall not have dominion over you. Dominion. What does it mean to have dominion? Rule. We're believers. We've been born again. And so it ought to be the case that sin would have dominion, rule in our lives. But what happens is, maybe before we became a Christian, and even since we become a Christian, we yield to sin. And this is the thing I want you to consider. Whenever you and I are faced with a temptation, we need to think of it as Genesis 4:6 says. Sin lies at the door, and its desire is for you.